Hi. Okay, I want to talk about this concept of old souls. It's a very common New Agey sort of thing about old souls, new souls, and so on. An old soul, very mature, very wise person, excuse me, or the new souls are very young and immature and whatever. So, like many things that have been twisted, distorted, and are misleading people, I think, to their own detriment, is this concept of new soul and old soul. So let's look at it objectively. Right? Let's assume there's some original being, and this original being creates everything, created the souls, and so we're saying that these souls are being created continuously through the eternity of time. Now, where did these souls come from? What is a soul? A soul is a spark of divine light, a spark of the original being. A human is an individual, but a soul is part of the great unity. So, how can there be a difference in age, new soul, old soul, young soul, wise soul, and all this, if every soul is a spark or fragment of the very same singular entity? It's illogical, it makes no sense. In all the traditions, going back chronologically, if we say the Hermetica, the Kabbalah, Buddhism, mystical Christianity, Islam, or the Sufis, um, or many other traditions, none talk about this old soul, new soul. The essence is the same. There's no idea of differentiation of age in the difference between beings. So you have to be careful about accepting things that are common or widespread without using common sense to analyze it, because you'll easily be misled and waste your life with misconceptions, which then, of course, limit you in your own progress in your own life. So there makes no sense, this old soul, new soul, because it's like having a block of, or a bottle of wine that you pour, some one glass today, and you keep the wine, and 1 year later you pour another glass out of the same bottle. Is that wine any different? It's the same wine, assuming you kept the first glass sitting there and never drank it. Just because you poured it in one glass 1 year earlier and you poured it the second glass 1 year later, the wine is the same. Or a block of cheese that's been aged, or anything. When you cut off a piece from an original source, the ages of those two pieces cannot be different. Same thing with souls, whatever the soul is. All right? So I'm just trying to get you to think, to learn how to think, rather than just accept anything that is being told, and for you to throw away the stupidity of this concept of old souls or young souls. So now we have to say, well, then how do you explain the difference between people? Where's the wisdom? Where's the stupid? Where's all of this? Okay. And that's where we come to the human personality. Now, the soul, as Buddha was saying, is not really a personality as such. It's an accumulation of thoughts and desires. So, by the same token, all you are while you're a human being is a human being. You're not a soul flitting around here and there. You're not a spiritual entity and so on. No, you're a human being, because that's what you're living in. You're in this body. So, what makes you into the human being you are? What makes each human being into the human being they are? Well, it depends on where they grow up. Their family, their upbringing, their experiences, their social class, their education, and their religion, their culture, their race, and all of this. And that's what turns you into what you are. Why do you have two people from the same family are very different? Well, they had different experiences. It's not a matter of the soul. Okay? So it's your personality, your human personality, that makes you different, and that's how it's formed. All right. Now, work with the human personality, and maybe you'll get closer to the soul. But to talk about this old soul, new soul, is such an ego trip. Oh, he's an old soul. I'm an old soul. I'm so wise. And my God, what an ego trip. And of course, anything that builds the ego is contrary to spiritual development, because as all the teachings tell us, no matter what, whether it's an ancient spiritual teaching or a religion, it tells you be humble. Be humble. Make yourself as nothing in your own eyes to become truly humble. But then, oh, I'm an old soul, is building your ego. You're furthest thing from humble. So you have to look and think about everything you hear, anything anyone tells you, you read, these workshops, these so-called great spiritual masters and gurus and all of these people. Think logically about what they're telling you. Okay. All right, so that's enough of that about the soul. So there is no old soul, new soul. There's an energy, and that energy gets born into a body, and that body goes through its experiences and forms you into who you are. And you are now supposed to take your entire life to change, cultivate, refine, and develop who you were born as into who you would like to be. And that's it. So simple. Ethics, the ethicalism.org, right, where our ethics are. It's a great way to do that. It gives you a guideline of how to develop yourself. So use that to our other exercises and so on, and then stop living with these concepts of being some great spiritual being and all of this stuff, and use logic and common sense. And that in itself is a great way to develop spiritually, consciously, because you use that thing which requires free will. Okay? We have to have free will, but we don't have free will because we don't use it. You know, it's like having a car. It's in the garage. If you never get in the car to use it, you don't have a car. If you keep taking the bus and taxis, it's like you don't have a car. So free will is the same thing. We're not using it. And how to use free will is by using common sense, by thinking, by questioning, by analyzing. Does this make sense? Is there logic to this? Go down the chain. If someone says you're an old soul or a new soul, say, excuse me, where do souls come from? Come from God. Okay. So what is a soul? Spark of God, a spark of divine light. Okay. So if these are 3, 4, 5, or 7.5 billion sparks of the same divine light, how can they be different? See? That's the process. Always question. Where did that come from? Where did that come from? Where did that come from? And then you're using common sense, your intellect, which is very important. It is not something to be shunned. And in that way, you're getting free will. Because if you just believe what you are told without your personal intellectual investigation, you're not using free will. You're a sheep being led off to slaughter. You're nothing more than, than a leaf blowing in the wind at the will of whatever guru or teacher or charlatan you're following. Right? So think if something makes sense. All right. If you think you're having some spiritual experiences, think again. We'll talk in another video about mind. What is the mind and so on. So we'll stop here and we'll make a new video.